My husband and I, both 26, recently hosted a family dinner to announce our pregnancy. It's important to add that my husband doesn't have a close relationship with his father, but we keep him around because he still has 3 minor siblings we love and care for. Although my father-in-law is the type of person who still thinks women should serve men at dining times, like he has to be served first because he's the breadwinner and crap like that. We usually don't care since we mostly ignore them. However, this time my family was present, and we consider he messed around and found out. My dad is my favorite person in the world. My mom died when I was little, and my dad took care of my older sister and me. They're the only family I have left. At dinner, my husband and I cooked things we knew our families would like. The first issue started when my father-in-law tried to sit at one of the heads of the table, and my husband said no. So he sat at one and I sat at the other, my father and sister on either side, and him with his brothers. So my father-in-law was in the middle and didn't like it. The second problem and the cause of all of this are that everyone was kind of serving themselves. However, my dad has a damaged nerve on his right hand, and he struggles when holding spoons and forks and such. My sister bought him a Parkinson-friendly cutlery set that he brings around, but a big spoon for serving is still hard for him. So I offered to serve him his plate while my sister served him his drink, and then we all sat to eat and chat. 3 or 4 minutes later after that, my father-in-law asked out loud, "Is no one going to serve me my plate?" And my husband looks at him confused and says, "No, we don't do that here." My mother-in-law just gets up in a hurry and takes his plate, but my father-in-law says no, and that the hostess did it for her father, so she can do it for me. And I say, "Yes, my father who has an injured hand. You're fine." He says that he won't eat then, and I just shrugged and said that he could starve, and I didn't care. He left with my mother-in-law, and while everyone agreed with me, my own father said that it was a disrespectful thing to say, and I should apologize for the way that I did it. So, am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Your father-in-law needs to know not everyone follows his misogynistic views, and in someone else's home, he doesn't get to act that way. If his own wife wants to be a servant, that's her choice. In your home, you make the call, and his attitude is messed up, so you need to make sure he doesn't treat you the same way he treats his wife. Actually, I might have just served him like this. "Aw, does Papa want some din-dins? So here you go, little man. Now eat all your veggies or you don't get dessert. Behave like a child, get treated like a child." I'd love to see that. Actual traditional values would mean you respect the host and hostess, as well as offer to help them. Plus, OP just announced she was pregnant. The arrogance of father-in-law to ask a now-known pregnant lady to help him. What the heck? That would never go down in an actual traditional household. This guy is just an egotistical buffoon. Kudos to your dad for raising someone with a shiny spine. Who assumes they're going to sit at the head of a table at someone else's house during a gathering they're not hosting? An idiot, I guess. Wow, that takes some next-level amount of self-centered entitlement. I can only imagine how he'll act if OP has a daughter. Also, he got up and left before the announcement? So extra. Did you later let him know the purpose of the dinner? Did your mother-in-law miss the announcement as well? If so, I feel a bit bad for her being tied to this piece of work. They don't live that far from us, so meh. Yes, he later found out but didn't care much because we offended him. But the rest of the family was so happy and my dad cried. LOL, it was a good time. My sister-in-law already wants to help me prepare the nursery and asked if she could make some sort of mural. My 28 male, girlfriend Kelly, 26, has 3 siblings. All of them have kids, and she's close to all of them. She has major love for her nieces and nephews. I love that for her, but I'm not a huge fan of kids. Eventually, yes, I wouldn't mind having kids, but right now, nope, I don't want them around. I bought my house 2 years ago. Kelly moved in about a year ago. Here's how the financial situation plays out. I pay for all the mortgage and insurance. Kelly contributes to groceries, Wi-Fi, and utilities, and does most of the cleaning. She cleans because she's a neat freak, not because I ask her to. She likes to do it. I have it set up this way because I want to be responsible for the mortgage, and I don't want her paying on it in case we break up, so I don't mind contributing triple what she does to the household. My place is very much my style. lots of electronics and sports memorabilia. I have a nice bar with alcohol and wine on it. I also have all my golf and sports equipment displayed. I have nice couches and my place is very modern. Not a kid-friendly environment. Recently, Kelly's been bringing her nieces and nephews over. I have a real issue with this. The kids range from teens to toddlers, and I don't want them around my stuff. They could steal my alcohol, break my stuff, and kids are just messy. They're dirty too, and I just don't want them in my space. So I've told Kelly it's simple. Spend as much time with your nieces and nephews as you want, just not inside my house. Watch them at your siblings' house. She's saying that's unfair because sometimes her sister asks her to watch kids when she needs to clean their house up or needs them out of the house. So I said, take them to the park or the mall or something, just anywhere but here. She says it's her house and she can do what she wants. I said it wasn't her house, it's mine. And if she doesn't like the no kids rule, she's free to leave. But I'm not risking my things for the sake of her nieces and nephews. I just know if the kids were to mess crap up, she wouldn't pay me back for it, so she can go to her family's house to watch them. I've been called the idiot for this. Am I the idiot? You are the idiot. Kelly's been living with you for a year, and you still say, my house? Then you tell her it's not her house? What the heck is wrong with you? Is Kelly just a guest in your house now? When you get into a relationship with someone, you accept their family too, especially because she seems like a family person. I resonate with Kelly, and I also have an immense love for my nephews and nieces and want them around all the time. I would have broken up with you on the spot if I were Kelly. She's not a guest. She's a live-in housekeeper who also pays for everything, minus the cost of the house. Maybe they hook up every once in a while, but mostly it's just so OP doesn't have to pay for Netflix, food, and cleaning. Also, OP claims Kelly's a neat freak and she just likes to do it. But then OP also claims that he doesn't want the children in his house because they'll steal his booze. What? Or make a mess. It sounds like OP is the neat freak. Of course you pay the mortgage. The mortgage is an investment in your house, and she shouldn't pay anything unless she's also an owner. You're treating her like an object, a ghost living in your house, not allowed to disclose any hint of proof that she lives there. You're basically acting as if you're still living alone, just with a new houseplant. Get your act together, or I hope she leaves you. Agree. Just break up with her already. You two are not a good match. She's a very involved aunt. To tell her the kids aren't allowed in the home she now lives in is controlling and idiot behavior. You knew how involved she was before moving in. You suck as a partner. I, 28 male, have been with my wife, 29, for 7 years. I love her with all my heart, but I'm upset with her. A little over a year ago, my wife announced she was pregnant. I'm not going to lie, I wasn't jumping for joy at being a father. She was on the pill and, to my knowledge, took it perfectly. But I guess we fell into that 1% where birth control fails. I suggested another option, but she wanted to keep the baby, so we went through with the pregnancy. My whole view has changed now that my son, an infant now, is here. My worries and apprehensions melted away the first time I held him. However, I quickly realized that my wife wasn't doing her share of childcare. We both work from home, but I'm the only one who gets up when he's crying to feed, change, and soothe him. She didn't want to breastfeed, which is fine, but she's only fed him a handful of times in the past 5 months. In addition, she refuses to get up at night, so all of his nighttime care is on me. I can count on one hand the number of diapers she's changed. I was initially lenient because I understand birth is very taxing on the body and can be traumatic, but I've seen no improvement in the past 5 months, despite talking to her multiple times and telling her I need help. I am exhausted. When I bring it up, she'll say she'll try harder, but she never does. PPD and other mental health issues were an immediate concern, but all of the doctors we went to said she didn't fit the criteria. She loves our son, cuddles him and plays with him, but doesn't do any of the hard work like feeding and changing diapers. She's not gotten up at night a single time. I reached the ends of my rope today when my son wouldn't stop crying. I was doing my best to soothe him, and my wife dared to look up from the TV and complain that he was being too loud and take him to another room. I'm ashamed to admit it, but I yelled at her and told her she was a horrible mother. She was deeply upset by this and went to stay with her parents, leaving my son and me at home. Now she's calling me an idiot and has my in-laws texting and calling me to tell me how much of an idiot I am. I'm just so tired. I feel like a single parent. I feel bad because I know what I said was mean, but I'm also angry she's enjoying the good parts of parenting while I'm stuck with the hard parts. She goes out with friends, does fun things, and partakes in her hobbies while I stay at home with our baby. I've not gotten a day to myself in months. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Her reaction upon being called a bad mom was to leave you and the baby alone? I think she basically proved your point. If she genuinely doesn't have anything wrong with her, then she's just a horrible mother, and maybe you should consider getting full custody. My exact reaction, too, is that she took the comment as an excuse to leave and not bring the baby with her. Maybe she refused the termination as a way to trap him into being a part of her life forever. I don't know this, obviously, but to be so consistent with birth control because you don't want a baby, then to suddenly get pregnant and want to be a hands-off mother seems weird. In all honesty, if you were to switch you and your wife in this tale, it would be a highly typical story of what many women experience with their postpartum husbands, which would trigger a unanimous husband is the idiot. It hits hard seeing a mother act this way. Honestly, you are a single parent right now. I wish you the best. My male, nearly adult, mom had me when she was young. My grandparents were religious and disowned her soon after I was born. The family cut contact with her save for a few relatives. My mom struggled a lot in her life. She worked a lot and saved money for me to attend medical school, which has been a dream since I was 11. No one helped, and I remember when Mom got sick and we were about to be homeless, her brother, my Uncle Frank, 37, refused to take us in, saying his wife was sick and there was no room for us. Her friend took us in, then Mom got back on her feet. She unfortunately passed away 6 months ago. Her best friend is trusted with my inheritance, but some days ago, she told me she received a call from Frank asking about the money. He told her his wife was dealing with medical issues, and he asked if I could help her pay for her surgery. My mom's friend told me this and had Frank visit me. I told him I didn't feel comfortable taking from my college fund after my mom worked so hard for me to have a future. He complained about his financial situation, reminded me of how he never approved of what his parents did to his mom, and went on about how close she and him were. I apologized and politely said no. He started begging, saying he had already tried every other option out there, and all he needed now was some financial help or a loan from me, and he'll pay me back shortly. I refused again, and he began having a breakdown, crying about wanting to help his wife but feeling helpless, then told me to think about what Mom would want me to do. This honestly was enough to get me to go into my room because of how uncomfortable he made me. He left, but took my number from my friend at school and started calling me about this issue and pressing me, saying I could help my aunt, but was choosing not to and refusing to help. He even had some of my relatives visit to talk about it. I feel a mix of guilt and frustration right now. My mom's friend says it's up to me whether I want to help my family. Am I the idiot for refusing to give him some of my inheritance? Not the idiot. Sorry about the loss of your mom, OP. Your mom made it very clear that money was for you. Don't spend a dime on these people. She knew they would come after your money. It's why she didn't leave him anything to begin with. She didn't give him the money while she was alive, and she made sure not to give him money when she knew she would be gone. Your mom's friend should have never let him come over and give him access to harass you. Block him and anyone else calling you. Instead, they turned their backs and disowned your mom and you, and only now are they talking to you because they're asking for money. Do not feel guilty about their circumstances, which I honestly question are even true. I feel like they're lying and using the sickness to manipulate you emotionally. You'll never see that money again, won't get thanks for it, and may get hassled when you try to get it back. Your uncle can take a loan out or create a payment plan with the hospital. In any event, it's not your problem. Yes, he's an adult, and when all those family members harass you, a minor child, for money, ask him why they're not helping him more. They're plenty older and probably have an income of some kind, from jobs or savings, or can get loans to help him if they care so much. He just sees you as an easy target. So stay strong and block them all. Do not sacrifice your future for them. My friend of 3 years, Bex, house sat for me this past week. I agreed to pay her $50 a day to do so. She was home with my low-maintenance dog and stayed in the guest room, or so I thought. Bex hurried out when I got home, telling me to PayPal her the money once I'd settled in. When I got into my room, it became very obvious that Bex slept in the main bedroom, my bed. I was quite put off by this because I have a guest room with a queen bed, which is more than sufficient, and told her to stay out of my bedroom. Yes, the master bedroom does have a king, but that's not what I offered her. I immediately took the sheets off as she was packing up, and as I did, I noticed something on a duvet cover near the bottom. It was nail polish. I called and asked her what the heck. She said she'd fallen asleep on top of the duvet with nails that weren't quite dry. I asked why she didn't tell me, and she said she didn't think it was that big of a deal because she could flip the duvet over. The duvet has 2 good sides, but now my duvet has a bunch of red nail polish on it on one side. My duvet was around $250, and I have a receipt for it. So I want to take the cost from the pay I was to send her with a copy of the duvet cover receipt. I told Bex I didn't think it was fair for me to pay the full house sitting rate, $350, when she had ruined something expensive of mine, $250, in an area I'd set as off limits, my bedroom. She said this was a risk I took, having someone stay in your home, and she really can't afford to have me underpay her. She even said she'd tell our mutuals that I had stiffed her if I didn't pay her the full amount. I told her I felt I was only obligated to pay her $100, $350 minus the $250 duvet. And she told me to screw right off and to think carefully about my choices and hung up on me. If she wrecked my guest suite's duvet, I would cover the duvet cost. That one was $75, and it's where I told Bex to sleep. But she ignored me, slept in my bed, and ruined my stuff without my permission to be there. She wrecked my duvet cover that she should have been nowhere near. I will never have Bex house sit again. She also smoked weed in the house. I have a covered patio with a sofa, and it was nice weather all week. And she never walked my dog. The doorbell camera never has her leaving with the dog. I don't think I want to be her friend after this. So I wonder if that's biasing me in not wanting to pay her in full after she wrecked my duvet. So, am I the idiot for deducting the duvet cost from her pay? Not the idiot. But if you're going to do that, give her the duvet. Leave it on her stoop or door with a paper check marked paid in full. She can 100% have it. You hired her to take care of your home and dog, and she did neither, damaging and neglecting the other. Why would you pay for a service she didn't provide? This, but also take pictures of the damage, so should other friends ask, you have it. I would also have lunch with a few of the more trusted friend group and tell them you're conflicted because of what happened, so they hear your side before she starts bashing you to them. That's the risk you take when having someone at your house? What the heck, Bex? It's super rude to not only go into someone's bedroom against their wishes, but to then sleep in the bed and decide to paint their nails on the bed? Then to top it all off by not telling you. The icing on the cake is not walking the dog she was hired to care for. That's no friend. Give her $100 and the duvet and cut contact.